Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and I was challenged to improve the design I use for my modular little houses. And what I did here is I cut a bunch of 1-inch strips. So most houses in a peasant village are going to be 1 story tall and roughly 20 by 30 foot or 20 by 25 foot in length. They're going to be more of a hovel. They're also going to be made in what's called wattle and daub, which is like a wooden thatch work, almost like a wooden braiding, kind of like that, you know. And then it's packed with poop and mud and dirt and stuff. And then it's painted over with lime or whatever they have available to give it a coating and change the color. So what I'm going to do is show you how you can quickly make, I don't know how quickly it'll be, but you can make this kind of stuff yourself pretty easy. So what you want to do is you want to find, get some 1-inch strips of foam, and then you want to measure these out to be 4 inches. So I'm gonna do these ones 4 by 4. I'm gonna do this one 4 by. I'm just making one 4 by 4 real quick. So then you want to peel your stuff off, okay? And you're gonna want to repeat that several times. You're just gonna give 4. You're gonna it's gonna be the bottom floor is gonna need 8 of these, okay? See, I made that one all messed up. But it doesn't matter if it's perfect, so I guess it's okay. I'm going to whap that off, though, and straighten that end up. And again, you don't have to do these perfectly, I told you, because they did not have, like, professional grade plumbs and levels for all their work at the time. They had, you know, like a stone or a piece of scrap metal to use as a plumb, and their level was often a clay bowl with oil or water in it. So, what I got there for? Just going slow, yo. And even though it doesn't have to be perfect, you want it to be ballpark for sure. Okay, I have 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 more. And you can keep all those little cut-off pieces to use for other stuff, obviously. You know, if you want to make a lectern or a small shelf or something, you could easily make all that with those scrap pieces. Alright, so I'm going to hang up my thingamabob there and set my excess foam off to the side. I have my 8 pieces. If you hear some background noise, my wife's warming up the car and the boys were playing in the snow. So, don't worry, I'm in no peril being disturbed that I'm aware of. And even if I am, you know, I mean, it's my wife and kids, so. Alright, so what the idea is since the house is roughly, clean this off, let's dust this off. A house is roughly going to be 2 inches or 10 foot tall in height. That's a story on average. And even though That's probably not how tall a lot of their houses would have been. We do that so that miniatures can go in and out of houses. And often I make houses that you can't enter at all as my modular towns, but today I'm going to make one you can enter. So what you want to do is you want to create two structures that sit on top of each other, and then we want to get some cardstock. And create some pieces to hold everything together. So to do that, oh, my little hook fell off the wall there. To do that, we're just going to cut two strips, roughly about the same height. And those are going to sit down inside the wall like that. And it's going to be glued to the inside of the bottom of the top wall. And then when it sits down on the bottom wall, it'll be, you know. All right, so before you put these on, you want to add some texture to them. Because wattle and daub is like not perfectly smooth and nice. It can be. Like if you go to Germany and look at some houses that are still standing, over the years they've done stuff to them and it made them very smooth. But it's amazing. Some of these houses are like more than 800 years old and look incredible. Many of them have been modernized. But there's some that have not actually. Where was that? Outside of Prague, there's one that is literally like the same as it was when they made it. You don't have to worry about doing the inside of the walls if you don't want to. If you don't plan on putting any kind of decor on the inside of your house. And like, I'm only going to do it on the bottom floor inside, not the top floor inside. Because the top floor pulls off and you really won't see the inside of that at all. Okay. I have that stupid Bruno and Rosie or Rose or whatever song in my head. My little boys are listening to it. It's called APT, but she doesn't say apartment. She says like a pata, or so. I don't know. It's so dumb, but it's stuck in my head. I'm gonna use my other roller ball for this one, just because I want to do something a little. I don't know. I just want to. It's mine, and I'll do what I want. I'm thinking about making a rolling pin kind of deal, like something a little bigger with these, with tin foil on it. So I can just kind of roll across all of them and be done. But I've been doing this way for so long, it's like, why change now? Okay. If you're wondering why I'm taking my time doing this, it's because I had forgot to turn my glue gun on when I walked down. So I'm letting my glue gun heat up while I do this. All right, top floor, bottom floor. So what you want to do now is you want to create a squared room just by placing these together. And you're going to do 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside. And you want to use just the smallest amount of glue to do this. You do not want to be overwhelming with that. Okay, and once you get your square in place, what you want to do is you want to get some, where's my cardstock at? I can never find cardstock when I need it. Here we go. We'll use this piece. It's a little thicker than what I wanted, but it'll work. So what you want to do is you want to get a couple thin pieces. About like this. This is probably about 1/2 inch. And then you want to divide that in half. And you don't want to cut all the way through. Just kind of drag it down the middle so you can fold it in half like this. All right? Just like that. And again, doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So what I want to do is on that piece, I'm going to get something like a pen or a piece of sharp metal. I have a piece of sharp metal here on this little tool, and I'm just going to make some lines that will simulate generic wood grain. I'm going to do that on all the corners. And then I'm going to measure this off at 1 inch. And in theory, this square is 1 inch, but I'm looking for a tape measure to verify that. 1 inch. Well, it's bigger than 1 inch. Okay, hold on. I thought my ruler that I used was 1 inch, but apparently my yardstick is bigger than 1 inch, so we'll use my yardstick to cut these. That's not a problem. So mine's going to be slightly taller than 2 inches, and that's okay. So we need 4 of these for the bottom and 4 of these for the top part. Oops. Oops. Okay. And one more. All right, I'm going to set my yardstick down. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's fit over the side, just like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, it's just on the inside here. I'm just going to make a bead of glue, fold that in half and let it pop back open and slide it over the edge of my house, just like that. Then I'm going to hold that there and let it cool. And then you might have some excess, like you didn't cut it perfectly. And what I would do is I would just get a pair of scissors and wrap that off as close as you can. And you're thinking, Doom, there's no door, there's no window. Yeah, I know, we're going to get it. Chill out. There's no reason to have a literal open window. All you need is something that signifies there's a window there. And it's kind of the same deal with a door, but we're going to actually make a door because I know some of you people just be loving doors. Okay. I'm going to hold that there. Let that cool. And that one was pretty close, but it's not perfect, so we're just going to back that off. Okay. And then we'll have one more to do. And you can see what we're doing here now. It's pretty noticeable what's going on. We are just generically framing this structure to cover up where we glued. Yeah, just together. That hides that pretty well. Okay. Now let's do the top floor. We're going to do it the same way, but we're going to leave the inside smooth because it's not going to be noticeable. Okay. Then we're going to support this in the same manner. Just cover up those corners the best we can. Smash that down. And hold it in place. Now, often on houses I've seen, their fireplace is kind of like an outside deal, like built off the side of the house. Because a lot of these places that I've seen are modernized, and they do have like wood burners and stuff in them. I'm not sure if they would have had, like I've seen some with chimneys too, especially like in Germany and France. I've seen them with chimneys, but like I've never been to England to look at them and stuff, so I don't know what it's like there. That was terrible. Okay, so that's going to sit on top of that. It should fit pretty much exactly at this point. So what we want to do is we want to create two tabs that hold the top and bottom together. And we want those to be glued on the inside right here. And that's just going to make the house not shake and move. Now, I have every intention of putting one on the back side as well. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Now, when I set that on there, it should hold it in place pretty well. All right. Now we need a base for the floor. And I don't know if a CD is big enough for that. So let's get a piece of board game. And we'll cut out a shape we know is big enough. So what I'm going to do is I assume that's going to fit on there about like that. Okay, now your bottom story of the house, you're going to mount to your board, and what you want to do is you want to get one side kind of down in there, And you want to straighten that out, okay? And let that cool for a minute. Once you're sure that's not going to move, if you're super particular, you can do the rest of it by I'm just going to do a thin bead down the side because I am going to be putting dirt on this base. So a very thin bead of cardboard will not hurt or be noticeable. Or thin bead of hot glue, I should say. Okay, cool. Just make sure we still put together here. And then we have our door. So let's let that cool off for a moment. And let's make our door. So you want your door to be cardboard so that it's, we're going to remove this door. Well, maybe we won't. Let's see. If you want your door to be enterable, that's easily done. Just make your entrance a little bit bigger than an inch. And the reason you have to make it a little bit bigger than an inch is because most miniatures are about 1 3/4 inches tall if they have like a sword sticking up and stuff like that. So what I want to do is get this on here. And get a pen. Oops, come on you. Just like that. Kind of make the shape of how we want our door to be. Okay. I want mine to be a square. That'll line up nicely now. Okay. Now we're going to cut a little bit of foam for this. So take one of your cast off pieces that you had left over from making your house. And you want to cut something thin, about like this. This should be good. And then what you want to do is you want to measure that up to the top of that house so that you can glue it in place right here. Okay? So what I want mine to do is to be about right there. I'm going to use this thicker end down here to do it though. And I'm going to put a very thin bead. I'm going to get that door lined up where I want it. And I'm going to glue that in place. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with this one. Okay. We'll let that cool. And then we're going to measure out the top of that doorway. And it's okay if it's a little bit wonky. It's fine. We're just going to get a thin bead here. Okay. We're going to shove that over it like that. And see, it's a little crooked. That's okay. That won't hurt nothing. Okay. Then I'm just going to make some squiggly lines to represent lumber. I'm going to hack off that connecting piece. Okay. Nice. Oops. Okay. So our wattle and daub house is starting out okay. Now we need to do a frame along the top. We're going to have a roof, but we want the roof to be where miniatures can sit on it, okay? So there's some tricks to that. That's what we got to do. So the first thing we got to do is get a piece that we had cut for the roof, something like this. And we want to measure 2 4-inch chunks. And we're just going to have a roof that slopes backwards. So ideally, you would not want a roof that sloped just backwards, right? So what we have to do is make it a little bit interesting. So we have this piece here. And just so that we have some different textures on our house and it looks a little interesting, with that piece here, what I want to do is I want to get my knife. I'm just going to make some grooves. See what I'm doing? I'm just going to simulate planks. Very ghetto-ly. That's good enough. And then we'll get our pen. We'll thicken out those lines. Try to make it look like lumber somewhat. And I think we need one to kind of break this one up a little bit too, just so it's not so boring. Okay, then if you want to get like a wire brush, you could do it, or if you just want to use your little tool I'm using here, just make some lines to simulate that that's lumber. So what I want to do is I just want to glue that on top of there. Okay. Oops. So this is all just done with like Dollar Tree foam so far. There's nothing too fancy going on here. So we do want to fit a piece that'll fit across that front top. And we know that that's going to be, what, just over 4 inches long. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit that right over there on top of that. Just like that, okay? Okay. And as far as having a window on the front side that people can shoot out of or whatever, you could cut one out, but what I would do is this. I would just make a simulated window that's attached to the top floor and call it a win. And how I would do that, is I would get a piece of cardboard, roughly the shape you want the window to be, and I would lightly glue on a little piece of something like that to be a window ledge. Then I would cut some of these like that. That should be plenty. Which, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what I would do is I would pick out where my window, center of my window is going to be. So we know probably about right there. And I would just get some glue. And I would glue one strip. And I would leave a little bit of a gap. Where that little middle of the window is going to be. Okay. And then I would just bring out some planks to look like my shutters. And the reason I would do this as shutters is because it's a closed window and it justifies on design why it's the way it is. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to slide my shears down. Cut that off. Snip off any excess crap I don't want on there. You could put as much detail on that as you wanted to, really. And again, I would just simply glue that to the top floor. Like that. Then when you put your building together, it's just another point to sturdy up that building. It looks natural and good. Now let's do the roof. So for the roof, the easiest thing to do would probably be to cut a piece of foam that would roughly fit on there and mount it. So and then I would just using different amounts of impact strength. What I'm doing is trying to create almost like a thatch look with it, okay? So once you get that kind of where you want it, make your edges a little wonky for the side edges. You got your deep kind of grooves. A wire brush would probably be better for that. Do I have one out? No. Okay. And then to mount this roof to this building, we're just going to pick the side that we think is the front. We're going to get a bead of glue there, there, and there. And then I'll flip it over. And I'm just going to get it in here and make sure there's a bead holding that. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. I can dig that. All right. If you want to do floorboards in the middle or anything else, you could. Mine's going to have a dirt floor. So since mine's going to have a dirt floor, we can skip to the next step. And that's going to be painting it and flocking it. So if you like what we're doing here, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and come back next time and see how I made this new style of modular house that you can take apart and see the inside. And it's, I normally wouldn't want to do, I don't think you really need stuff that opens up or has doors, but it was just an idea, and it seems like it's a pretty good idea. It seems like it's going to work well. I think we'll see the real true test once we get it painted and decorated. Oops, I just blew the top away. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave a comment, go to the website and buy some minis, and hit us up on Discord. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.